And welcome back to another episode of Wrestling with Bros. This is Big Baby Ben.
Judas Black, guys. Tonight we have some WWE and indie wrestling talks. Let's get at it, Big Baby.
So why don't you go ahead and start out with the CSW promotion?
All right, so we got a couple shows coming up. We got one on March 15th, one on the 16th. The 15th is the CSW show. At one second here, I'm pulling that right up here, fans. So CSW presents Over Like a Clover. Looks like it's going to be at 9757 Pacific Avenue in Franklin Park, Illinois. The doors open at 6:30. Bell time's at 7:30. Got several matches on that lineup on the card. Going to be a great show. Can't miss it. Front row is sold out, but there's still plenty of seats available. So, guys, come check it out. We can go over some of the matches, Big Baby, if you'd like. And we can talk about it a little bit, and then, or we can just kind of just announce each individual match that's going to be at the show.
That's totally up to you, Judas.
All right. So first match I got on the card, Shane Hollister versus Axel Rico. Singles match. It's going to be hard hitting. It's lined up, ready to go. The next match I got on the card here looks like, this is going to be a good one. We've got the trios tag match. Jay Marston, Shane Boucher, Solomon Tupu, the Haykeepers versus Cypher, Swoggle, and Adam Stallion. And we all know who Swoggle is. Hornswoggle from WWE. Going to be in a tag match at Chicago Style on the 15th. It's going to be a hell of a show. Like I said, man, there's some amazing names on this card. Next, we got an intergender match. The Intergender Metro Division Championship match. El Sueno and Estra, the champion, versus Chicago's sweetheart, Missa Kate. Next on the lineup, we got the Diamond and the Roth, Quintero versus Jake Parnell, Warhorse. We ourselves personally have seen Rafael Quintero participate in matches at HAW. And, man, this guy, he can move around a ring like no other. A hell of a competitor. Several people we've talked to have said he is hard to put away, and he is definitely a threat worth facing in the ring.
Finally back.
We're slowly kind of, getting into the CSW, into the indie circuits here, fans. We've been telling you for a while we're going to try to get more stuff involved with the indie circuits, and it's time to do that. We got WWE. We talk about them a lot. We're huge fans. Have followed them since we were kids. But we got to give the indies a little bit of a spotlight. We got to give them a little bit of shine. My thing is that I want to, keep track of these matches and follow them into the event and see what we're going to be seeing and just kind of discussing them after the fact. It's going to be a good time. After that, we have the CSW Women's Championship match. Shelly Benson, the champion, versus Sky Blue versus Amina Belmont versus Maggie Lee versus Vita Scott. That is going to be great. We've seen Sky Blue. We've seen Maggie Lee participate in matches, and, man, they are athletic as hell, and they know what they're doing in that ring.
Yes.
Could we see a new champion? I mean, that's a good possibility at this event on the 15th, man. It's a good possibility. It might just be one of their lucky day. One of them's their lucky day, and they could pick up that championship and go home with gold. Or we could just see Shelly Benson be lucky as ever and retain the title. So, and then scrolling down here, we have another intergender match. Oh, man, we're going to like this one, Big Baby. We've got the Devil's Little Princess, Heather Reckless, going one-on-one with the base god Gringo Loco. And, man, this guy, he's got the look, he's got the power. But I think our little princess, man, I think she's going to pull it off and put him away. I mean, anything's a possibility, right? So
I want to pause you just for a moment on the Heather Reckless.
Yep.
What a talent. What a talent. This little demon princess is what I call her.
Yep.
I call her the demon princess. This girl can move around that ring with some of the best of them.
Yep.
I just wanted to take a moment and give her acknowledgement to the fans. Heather Reckless is something to watch. It's something that you might have to come pick me up because I might want to pay to get into this one.
Yeah, bro. Man, there's some hell of matches on here, and the final match on the card is for the Chicago Style Men's World Championship, and it's a CSW Championship, and we all know who the CSW champion is, Big Baby. Who's the current Conan Lycan? Conan Lycan, man, that guy. There's no way to describe the power and the skill and the ability to move around the ring. Like, it's crazy. He's facing off against a very worthy competitor, Speedball Mike Bailey from TNA.
Conan Lycan is bigger than Dave Bautista in his prime.
But, man, I don't know. I've been hearing a lot about this Speedball Mike Bailey. And he's definitely a threat worth taking seriously.
I've seen footage of him, but I've seen Conan Lycan in the ring, man. I would hate to be thrown by that man.
AMB, our boy, he picked up a hell of a victory when he defeated Conan Lycan for the HAW Men's Championship. But AMB will speak for you on this. He will speak for us on this. He took an ass whooping from Conan Lycan. That was no easy victory. He had to fight for that championship because he had to prove he was worthy to carry that title. And Conan Lycan made sure that he was worthy before he was willing to give up and lose that match and take the loss for AMB. So,
speaking of AMB, don't we have him coming back on the show?
Hell yeah, brother. Wednesday at 6 p.m., AMB will be back on the show with us here, fans. He coming on for what we call a creative episode called Double Champion. So, there have been several double champions throughout history in the wrestling business, and AMB, our boy, is one of them, and he's going to be on the show Wednesday to go over that with us. He will also be discussing the show that we will be commentating at on April 27th for MCW in Ottawa, Illinois. It is going to be a great event. So definitely tune in for that. We will be streaming live from that event as well.
Did you just say that Wrestling with Bros is going to be commentating a live event?
Hell yeah, brother. It's been a long time coming, man. I mean, we've been going for about a year roughly. We started out on Spotify, this little tiny brothers wanting to just talk about wrestling, to now we will be sitting at a commentator desk, sitting at the table, laptops out, mics on, cheering on this event, calling these matches, calling out these wrestlers as they're walking down to the ring, calling the matches, calling the high-flying shots. Bro, I am so pumped for this event.
So pumped. And we're ringside with the commentators. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and we are so humble. And we keep announcing it on our show because we want our fans to tune in that special day to watch this special event. It's going to be an awesome event.
Absolutely, absolutely. Also coming up here, March 16th. So the next day, right after the CSW show, we got Rise from the Ashes 2. This is a event that is held by Honor Among Wrestling. This is also the 1-year anniversary celebration show for HAW. And also, do not miss your chance to meet a AAA Mexican superstar, Sexy Star. She is going to be at that event. It's going to be a great time. We've got AMB, our boy, facing Gunner, and I believe it's a last man standing or some type of a match here for the HAW World Championship. Man, the card is stacked at this event. It is going to be a great time, brother. Damn, brother. Good. So Honor Among Wrestling will be at let's see here. Rise from the Ashes 1 year anniversary show. I'm trying to pull the card up here real quick here to see the location. I believe it's at the Bettendorf Community Center, but I want to make sure I got that correct.
Hey.
All right.
All backed up.
Yep, there we go. Rise from the Ashes at the Bettendorf Community Center, March 16th. Doors open at 6. The show starts at 7 p.m. You can't miss this, man. They are going into 1 year being a promotion. The fans are going to absolutely love it. So every show we go to, there's more and more fans. It just seems like, it's slowly becoming a bigger promotion. It's becoming a bigger deal, and they're constantly finding ways to bring bigger stars into this show. The owner, Danny Maldo, he is an amazing guy. He's doing this thing with this promotion, making it available to the Quad Cities. So you got to tune in and check out the show. Also, you got to check out our boy, Trey Bebe. He's the ring announcer for Honor Among Wrestling. Awesome guy. Like, I can't say much more about him other than he's just amazing. He's a cool dude. Hell of an announcer, and he also is a great guest on the podcast as well. All right, Big Baby, let's go ahead and get into the WWE talks and stuff.
One more piece of indie news that Big Baby Ben would love to announce to the fans, and I'm stoked for this. Miss Kennedy Ryan from OVW coming on tomorrow.
Yes. Coming on the show.
She wants to talk all OVW. You know how long I've been waiting for an OVW opportunity as a podcaster? You yourself know OVW is right before the big time.
Yeah, it is, brother. I mean, it's a good time. We got big stars that have come out of there. Just right off the top, John Cena. Like, you see where his career went. Hell of a superstar. Just traveling the circuit, did his thing in OVW, did his time in the indie circuits, and then made it in the big time in WWE. Became the top dog, the face of WWE. And now he's kind of
Kennedy Ryan's got it going on.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, she does. Next thing you know, we're going to be seeing her face up there as well. So, yeah, we're super pumped, super excited to have Kennedy Ryan on the show tomorrow night, 7 p.m., if I'm correct. 7 p.m. right here on Wrestling with Bros. Come check it out, guys.
Now we can move into the WWE news, but breaking news that has broke the internet, that is everywhere. I sent it to you earlier and you hearted it. My man, the blanket in the background, the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar, is now active on the WWE roster list per WWE.
Hell yeah. If anybody knows Brock Lesnar, that beast, that monster, he comes into that ring with intentions to hurt somebody. And it's going to happen. Now that he's going to be back in, we're going to see something good. I mean, we're going to see something amazing. And hopefully, maybe, on Raw, we got the gauntlet match to decide who will face Gunther at WrestleMania. What's to say that Brock may not come out there and just completely destroy everybody and challenge Gunther at WrestleMania? Absolutely.
That's the match we want.
Yeah, it is. Everybody wants to see Gunther even said himself, I want Brock Lesnar. I want Brock. But he hasn't been able to have him yet because of everything going on.
And let's just be honest here. I know you're not the biggest Brock fan, but you got respect for Brock Lesnar and his career. Now, Brock versus Gunther at Mania is money.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, that's going to put asses in seats. The money's going to be there. Tickets going to get sold. You know, as far as I understand, WrestleMania XL is sold out. As far as I understand. So
yes, it is. At Philadelphia, it's sold.
Yeah, so it's going to be a hell of a show. I mean, we're not going to be at it, but we sure the fuck is going to be casting it live, talking about the every match, every hard-hitting second as it's going on for WrestleMania XL right here on the podcast.
And as soon as we know the official match card, we'll be doing a predictions episode also.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, we kind of went away. You know, my brother over here had some family stuff going on, and he was moving, and I had to move, and I had some family stuff going on. So we had to take a small little break and step away for a minute. But best believe Wrestling with Bros ain't going nowhere but to the top, because you're watching the best in the Midwest. And that is
the best podcast in the Midwest. It's here. You know, we want to talk to anybody and everybody who'd like to come on the pod. We'd like to give you a chance to have the spotlight. It's a chance to shine, talk to a couple wrestling fans and, you know, future wrestlers like myself who's trying to break into the business. It's a chance to make a name for yourself on the pod and bring that spotlight and talk about everything that you've done in your career so far and everything that you plan on doing so far. And if you want to call somebody out on the pod, we are down to let you have the light to do that. Call them out. We'd love to bring both of you on the podcast at the same time so you guys can talk all the smack you want and make this show pop.
You know, I'm a Paul Heyman guy. I know you're not a Paul Heyman guy. Now, you do like him with the wise man. He is a good wise man.
Yes.
Now, we can both sit here and debate back and forth, but we're going to have the debate. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, Paul Heyman is the greatest manager of all time.
I mean, I can't argue with that. I mean, there's been some great managers in the wrestling industry, you know, for a long, long time. But man, Paul Heyman, everybody that he puts his hands on goes to the top, clear to the damn top.
Curtis Axel was going nowhere.
No, he became what, an Intercontinental Champion? Paul Heyman says, "I will guarantee you a championship." And he does just that.
So him, you know, you follow wrestling, so you've seen he's the first inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame this year.
Well deserving.
Yeah, well deserving. But here's the question. Now, before we were all talking, I froze.
Yeah, you did.
Before we were, yeah, I froze. Before we were all talking, well, Brock can't do it because of the issues. Well, Brock's an active. He's active again, but you got CM Punk there. Who inducts Paul Heyman into the Hall of Fame?
Personally, I think should be Brock Lesnar. I mean, the man deserves it. He deserves to induct Paul Heyman because Paul has been in his life since he began his career. He's been around. He's been there. He's been leading Brock. He made Brock this unstoppable force in the WWE. There's no reason. Yes, there's plenty of people, ECW stars, CM Punk, that could induct him into the Hall of Fame. But I personally, even Roman Reigns, his career went to new heights because of Paul Heyman. But personally, I think it should be Brock Lesnar. There's no doubt in my mind it should be Brock Lesnar.
To bring up Roman Reigns, and I know I dog him a lot on this show. I come at his life on this show. Judas, on the other hand, puts his finger in the air. That's okay. But at least admit he could not cut a promo worth a fuck until Paul Heyman got his hands on him.
Nah. I mean, now all Roman has to do, because of Paul Heyman, all he has to do is get in the ring and say, Davenport, Iowa, acknowledge me. And the fans go wild because of Paul Heyman. Before he come out and try to talk, get the fuck out of here.
Nobody believed it.
Now that he's a tribal chief, he's like, believe that. Believe that.
Everyone, kind of says, and this is on my notes, Roman's kind of in the shadows of John Cena. Wouldn't you say the tribal chief gimmick and the bloodline gimmick has took him out of the shadows, and now it's kind of like, hey, I'm Roman Reigns, and I'm a goat.
Yeah. He's no longer in the shadow of John Cena. John Cena gave him that edge to want to go further. Honestly, if you think about the promo that he cut on Roman that one time, he said, it's called a promo, boy. If you're going to say it, spit it. Otherwise, get out of the ring. That made Roman think. While he was sick and dealing with leukemia, John Cena gave him a lot to think about. And he came back, this whole new character, this whole new person, this whole new being, and said, wreck everybody, stack them, and leave.
Do you think him turning heel was the best move of his career?
Absolutely. If Roman Reigns had stayed a babyface, it wouldn't have gotten him anywhere, because he just wasn't getting over with the fans. So if you're not getting over the fans, you might as well turn your back on them and become like the best heel. They were booing you, so you might as well turn your back on them and tell them, acknowledge me, because you got to demand respect. When people don't like you, you got to demand it from them. Demand that respect in the ring. Show them that you're an absolute amazing, talented superstar, and you can be your own, and you don't need them to do it.
Every week we kind of name a superstar or a tag team, like what happened to them. What the fuck happened to the Creed brothers?
The Creed brothers were being pushed. They faced the Judgment Day, got their asses handed to them, and then they disappeared. It's almost like WWE said, not quite cutting it here for us. You're too simple. You're too simple, too generic. We already have one of you in the form of Chad Gable. We don't need another one.
But so the Creed brothers are over with the fans, though.
Just because they're over with the fans doesn't mean they're over with WWE. WWE,
so in your opinion, it's poor booking.
Poor booking. The WWE only has so much booking time on their hands each week. They can only book so many matches. They're going to go where the money is really pouring in. The Bloodline, the money pours in. Brock Lesnar, when he's in the ring, the money pours in. Becky Lynch, we don't like Becky Lynch being given another title opportunity, but the money pours in. It's where the money's at. That's where the business is at, and that's how the WWE keeps going and striving for years to come.
Because they don't, they're entertainment.
Yep.
So who's going to provide the best entertainment? Becky Lynch with her bloodied up face and her shaking the ropes at WrestleMania and getting back up and selling it. I'm not hurt. Look at me. I'm the man.
Yep.
I've seen it already. I've seen it. You know what? I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her career. I would love to have her on the podcast. I put her on the Mount Rushmore of women. She's one of the greatest of all time of women that ever laced the boots. of female superstars, one of the greatest. But look at Tiffy Time and her performance in the chamber.
Tiffy Time is definitely Tiffany Stratton. I'm not going to keep saying Tiffy Time. I'm not going to keep saying Tiffy Time. Tiffany Stratton, she is an amazing future star. But I personally think I've seen this 100 times in the WWE. Someone will come in, they're an amazing talent, they lay it all out in the ring, and then they disappear. Weren't you just saying the Creed brothers?
And let's not forget Lacey Evans.
Lacey Evans sucked. She just straight out sucked.
She was big when she started.
She was.
She was popping. And then she got called to the main roster, and it just kind of
fizzled out.
So do you think the Creed brothers should have stayed in NXT?
I think that the Creed brothers should have stayed in there until they were there for a while longer, got more used to a specific layout in the ring before they were brought in. You know, Braun Breaker spent many years in NXT before he became a part of the main roster. So you got to think. You absolutely got to think. If the Creed brothers had spent more time in NXT, could they have become more of something? Right now, they're in catering or something. We haven't seen them.
Just gone.
Just gone. Whisper in the wind.
And now, you know, speaking of tag teams, there's 2 tag teams that have my eye right now, and they're battling it out. And I know they got your eye too. The Final Testament and Bobby Lashley with the Street Profits. Is that going to Mania?
It absolutely is. We've seen Bobby Lashley versus Karrion Kross on Friday Night SmackDown. We've seen it break down when the Authors of Pain decided to get involved and protect Karrion because they knew that Karrion was getting his ass whooped. Bobby Lashley is an absolute monster in that ring. And Karrion Kross, same thing. But when it comes to Bobby Lashley, he just can't handle himself. He can't. Bobby is a monster. He needs the AOP on his side. You know, and the Street Profits, yeah, they're an amazing team. But when it comes to the Authors of Pain, Montez Ford, he can't handle it. It's too much monster. It's too much power. They're called the Final Testament for a reason. The Final Testament. The Final Test.
So, you know, last week we did it, and this week we're going to do it. Producer, I come by your desk and I throw this on to you. I say you got Karrion Kross with the Final Testament versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits at WrestleMania. And who wins? And why? Man. Who wins and why?
Well, if you think about it, you got a lot more fresh talent in the Final Testament. And they're trying to rebuild the AOP, trying to make them look dominant this time around. And making them part of a group called the Final Testament. If you send them to WrestleMania to lose against a veteran like Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, you're going to bury them. You're not going to make them look like a threat. They're not going to look scary, especially if they lose to the Street Profits. And don't get me wrong, a loss to the Street Profits is not nothing to hang your head in shame about. They're an amazing tag team. They're an amazing tag team. But the Authors of Pain, the AOP, they are not a team to fuck with. They're absolute dominance. So you got to think they have to be the ones to win. The Final Testament has to win at WrestleMania. They have a lot more on the line going into this match. It's got to happen. Personally, what I would like to see, though, is the Final Testament versus the Judgment Day.
Yes.
That would be great. I mean, you got 2 powerhouse tag teams. the final testament, basically assessing this is the final say, this is the final testament in the Bible, versus the judgment day. We judge all. We make the final judgment. This is the final call.
Karrion Kross has been sat down for too long. Here's my rant about it. You got a guy with a former MMA career that's built like a brick horse and looks like a badass. Pulls off and he has the amazing, beautiful Scarlet with him. Now you give him AOP. If you junk this project like you did Edge out of the Judgment Day,
yeah,
I might be done. Because this right here is something that the fans have been waiting on. More dominant factions. Like back in the day, there were so freaking many factions and stables and tag teams. And that's what's next on my list. Tag teams of the Attitude Era versus tag teams of today.
Yep.
The tag team division back then was off the charts. Wild matches, crazy all the time. Now it's like, it's getting better. Don't get me wrong. The tag team division is getting better. But could it be better? You got the Creed brothers in catering.
Yep. No, brother, you got to think. You got the Final Testament. You know, these stables. That's what I love, the stables. You've got the Final Testament. You've got Judgment Day. You've got, I hope Bobby and the Street Profits come up with a name at some point. You know, the Hurt Business was a great name. That would have been a great
They
faction.
ruined that. They ruined it.
Yes. They ruined it before it even got started.
You know, Shelton Benjamin wrestles dark matches at live shows now.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's where they have Shelton freaking Benjamin, the golden standard, one of the greatest intercontinental champions to ever do it.
And you gotta think, brother, another stable that has been the most dominant in the past 3 years, the Bloodline. That stable has been off the charts, like destroying anything and everyone that gets in their path. You know, I would love to see the Final Testament versus the Bloodline. You know, put Jay back in at some point. If Jay was still a part of the Bloodline versus the Final Testament, the Usos versus AOP.
Don't put Jay in there. They got that new guy coming in from the Bloodline.
Tama Tonga?
I want to see him put in the Bloodline. Jay Uso escaped the Bloodline. He's doing good on his own, putting on great. I know he's losing. He's getting his ass.
But Jay Uso already made it very clear that if they could make bygones be bygones and put things to rest, he'd be willing to re-tag back up with his brother Jimmy.
And you know, to me, that would be boring television.
Maybe to you, but to some, you know, the Usos have been a very dominant tag team throughout their entire career. So,
go ahead.
No, you're good, brother. You're good.
Oh, I was jumping to the next topic. So
you're good. Go ahead.
Before I do that, Cody Rhodes slaps the shit out of The Rock.
Dude, you heard that shit. You heard that shit. And the look on The Rock's face, he just like, really? Really? I was like, hell yeah. That was karma coming back to bite you in the ass. You smacked him at a WrestleMania press conference. He came back and returned the fucking favor. He told you, Rocky, that he was going to get you back. He told you, I'm going to smack you back. And he sure the fuck did. He took that opportunity face to face with The Rock to smack the fucking glasses off his fucking face. It was great. That was great. I loved it.
Hold on, I forgot Billy.
I absolutely loved it. So
now I have a
now,
question for you, Judas.
yes.
My wife just made a good point. What happened to your finger in the air, or did you turn into a Cody crybaby?
I've always been a Cody fan. You know that.
So who you going for, Mania?
Like, you've been giving me so much crap.
I don't know, man.
What's going on?
I've got, you know that I am a true Roman fan. I'm a huge Roman fan. Bloodline all the way. But we need a new champion. It's getting stale. It really is. We need a new champion.
2 years ago.
I'm tired of saying I'm right. I told you so. I told you so. It's time for a new champion. I do not want to sit there on night 2 and go, told you so. I told you so.
What happens, this is just fantasy booking out of my mind, like a wonderful moment. What if the Bloodline is in control of the match at WrestleMania and Brock's music hits and he comes out and tears up the whole Bloodline?
I don't foresee that, honestly. I don't see them throwing Brock in the mix again. There's no reason. There's no story to be had there. Brock doesn't need another title right now. And it's Cody's light. It's Cody's spotlight. It's time for him to shine. We all know the biggest rumors around the mill is that the story is going to finally be finished. A few years later, the story is going to be finished. So, I don't know.
And then we're in the middle of the promo, and Seth Rollins accepts the challenge, and The Rock says, "You're going to let this clown emoji accept the challenge?"
You're gonna let this drag queen. that's what Roman called him, a drag queen. Like,
you can see the natural hatred between Seth and Rock.
Absolutely. Seth believes that The Rock is trying to steal the spotlight from the younger fans. Like he said, we're sorry, Rock, that you're going through a midlife crisis, Mr. Midlife Crisis. Like, it's time for you to stop trying to steal the spotlight from the natural talent, the new talent, the new everything. And then you've seen The Rock throw in that he is the boss. He is a board of the director member of the TKO, and he can make Seth's title go away. He could make Cody's story go away. He could do all of this. And that's what's going to happen if Cody loses at WrestleMania. No. Rock, stop abusing your power. Stop threatening people with your power because you feel like you've got some kind of a power trip going on. You think you can just tell people you're going to do something. No. Leave the talent alone. Do your job. Sit down at your desk and shut up. Like, stop telling people you're going to take stuff away from them. Let them shine. Let the future shine. Yes, you're giving the fans something they've wanted. We're going to have Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins versus The Rock and Roman at WrestleMania. Awesome. Great. Thank you. We know it's going to turn into a fucking trip where you're going to turn on Roman and we're going to get Roman versus The Rock at SummerSlam or some future pay-per-view coming up. But don't threaten people. Don't threaten people with your power and your ability to do whatever you want, that you can do whatever you want. And I get it's probably a story. It's probably a promo cut, whatever. But that just pissed people off. That's what that did. It just pissed people off and just absolutely, it's making your heel turn even better, I guess, in a sense.
Well, honorable mentions for the week.
Honorable mentions this week. Going out to MCW, the show coming up here pretty quick. We're looking forward to it, guys. We're absolutely excited. I'm looking forward to the Chicago show for CSW. So shout out to CSW. Even though I won't be wrestling yet, I will be at the show, help set up the ring. If I'm needed for security, we'll be doing that as well. So it's going to be an absolutely good time. This is the first event I will be participating in as far as CSW goes. Shout out to the owner of CSW, Steve Boz. Super excited to continuing my career in wrestling, working with you side by side. Shout out to HAW. We're looking forward to the 1-year anniversary show coming up, and we look to forward to some participating in some future possibly commentary with you guys as well. So, absolutely.
My honorable mentions go to Oscar and MCW for the opportunity of a lifetime to sit ringside and, get to be good old whoever I feel like, my persona is going to be. Big Baby Ben's going to be as a commentator. It's pretty fucking cool. Get to call matches and announce wrestlers and stuff. It's going to be a great time. Can't wait. Shout out to Danny Maldo and HAW for the opportunities they have given us. I will always have love for them. And shout out to my partner, Judas.
Thank you, bro. Same to you.
Amazing co-host, amazing partner in crime for this thing we call a podcast. Shout out to my wife, too, for handling promo videos.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm Big Baby Ben.
Judas Black here, and it's been another amazing episode of Wrestling with Bros. Have a good night, guys.